Well, hey there, it's Elka.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we are talking about Zazzle's success strategy number 4, which is align your goals with your mindset and your actions.
Yes, this is the 4th in a 5-part series of our 5 strategies that we've used to sell over $15 million worth of Zazzle products on the Zazzle platform. And when we first started on the Zazzle platform as designers, oh my gosh, that was tough because we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
There was no coach, there was no program, no course that we could follow, and everyone was pretty guarded as to what was giving them the success, even though there were already some people that were doing really, really well on Zazzle, but they didn't really share.
Yeah, it was very secretive. Nobody wanted to give away their secrets.
Yeah, because there was this sort of mentality of lack, of abundance. Now, what we've done in our, with our coaching programs and everything that we've done since the last, what is it now, 4 years that we've been teaching? Yeah. We've just said, let's tell everything so that everyone can win together.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happened. Everyone's winning. And there's so many, we've already helped 4 people become gold pro designers. And that we've helped another 15 become silver Zazzle Pro designers. And there's about, 500 almost in the wings that are coming up the ranks. And so we're really excited about that. Why did we do that, and why are we talking about even that right now? Is because we're talking about aligning our goals with our strategy and mindset and actions. Why? Because we feel that if you're going to make this Zazzle business work, it can't be a cutthroat competitive thing. It has to be aligned with what your real purpose is in your life.
Yeah.
It has to be the fact that you are doing what you love and you're making money doing it, and you're doing it by giving yourself a lifestyle with the time, financial, and location freedom that you want. And so, so this is what you have to do to start here and actually implement this strategy into your Zazzle business as well, which seems odd, right? Because the first 3 strategies are like, go, make sales. And now I'm saying, still have your goal, align them with how you want to run your business, because first of all, Jen and I have been doing this for 14 years, and at the beginning we just also hustled, but we actually didn't make sales. But once we started aligning our business with our goals and our mindset, we made more money. So this is what we have. We can't make any income claim statements. We always say that. Please hear that. And also, this is a long-term business. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. However, when you decide that this is going to be your business, long-term business, that you're going to take care of and establish and set up, and you know that it's going to be a payoff down the road, but first you're going to work at it, then you'll understand the importance of this particular strategy, because it's going to help you now. And it's going to help you when you're sort of middle of the road in terms of almost getting to your goal. And it's going to help you when you're like in our stage where you're at the end of your, you've got your goal and you're just maintaining your business and you're starting to have fun and enjoy life, right? Rather than always working.
Yeah.
All right. So who would this benefit, this implementation of strategy number 4, which is align?
All right. So creatives who are thinking of starting a Zazzle or starting on Zazzle or starting a Zazzle business and want to make sure that their new business does not turn out to be the same as what they're leaving behind, right? You're creating a new business because obviously you want to change something. You want to get out of your 9-to-5 job. Maybe you're actually on the online space in e-commerce, but it's not working for you on a different platform. Or maybe, you're just out of university and you want to create your own business and you don't have an action plan of going forward. So you want to make sure that whatever you create on Zazzle is an alignment and it is fully aligned and feels good with you and not what happened before or what you're leaving behind.
Yeah. So a lot of this is more for people that just don't like their day job or don't want to work as hard or never thought that they could make more money because they were stuck in a rut. That's what we're talking about here. But it also, as Jen mentioned, the university thing is also for people who just didn't even know that something is possible, that because they were on a certain path and they didn't like that path, like going to university and knowing that when you graduate you have to do this, this, and this. And so this is a way for you to define what that is and allow you to literally map out what you want the Zazzle business to be for you. And this is hugely uncomfortable for most people, because most people think, okay, I just have to do the standard thing. But no, we actually defined what it is that we wanted out of our Zazzle business, and we then accordingly set our goals, set our hours, set our, what we're going to do with it, how we define it, how does it fit into our life, rather than it being our life, which is so important, because that's one of the most important reasons why you would step into this entrepreneurial role rather than just being a hobby for you, right? But if you want to take it seriously, then you've got to take ownership. And because you take ownership, that also means you have the ability to decide how it's going to go. And that's really important. So the other people who it's really going to benefit is those people that have been on Zazzle for a long time. And that might be you. And it's okay if you haven't earned the money you want, like even like up to $5,000 a month. And when we say that, it's meant to shock you. It's meant to say like, hey, guess what? If you've been on Zazzle for so long and you still haven't gotten there, it's not supposed to judge you, but it's supposed to shock you. It's supposed to say like, wake up. What has happened? Is this truly something you really want to get working on, like have it happen for you, or is it just going to stay a hobby? And if it is staying a hobby, then don't get so stressed about it that you're not making the money you want to make. But if you do want to make that money, then stop stressing, start doing.
Yeah.
And so, and then one of the things that really helps is when you take the time that you've worked and the dollars you've made, and you divide them, and you find out your hourly rate.
Yeah.
And like my rate at one point was like 29 cents or something like that an hour. I was like, gee, that's a little bit too low.
Yeah, if you want to do the hours worked, but then also do the days, right? I think in your first year it was $90 that you made.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so I was like, way, like 0.000 cents.
Yeah, not so good, not so good. And so the idea here is that's a wake-up call for you, right? Because if you're working so many hours and you're not making any money to get that dollar value back, then it's not okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, that's also going back to your old job, right? You were initially trading your time for dollars. Now you're actually trading your time for less dollars. And so we want you to make sure that the business is working for you and that it's all aligned.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the caveat of that is that if you realize, hey, this is actually not working for me, but I really want it to work, then you're going to have the incentive and take the action to whatever it is, whether it's like several action steps or one specific action that says, okay, now I'm going to treat this as a business, and I'm going to do certain things, and I'm going to monitor my business. I'm going to take care of things, and remember, that's like a little foreshadowing for strategy number 5, which is in our next podcast episode. But that's the whole idea, is that we're going to do something about it. And that also means that you're aligning it with your current goals. And so I want you to wake up and hear that, but on the other hand, go like, we've got you covered. We've got your back. And it's okay if that is what has happened to you. But you now have to decide, is this okay with you continuing on? Or is it something you're going to do something about, because it's just causing you a lot of grief?
Yeah.
All right, so why is it important? I think I just talked about that. Because
I think you covered a lot of that. But basically, it allows you to create that alignment between your values, your needs, your earnings, and how your business is set up so that you can be truly happy, right?
Yeah.
You're creating a business online because you have a certain reason why you did it. And we talk actually about this in the Profit by Design Academy coaching program, and help you determine your why and like why you want to actually create an online business. But for me, it was because I wanted to travel, right? And I didn't want to be stuck in an office job and ask my boss for time off. And for Elka, it was because she wanted to stay at home with her kids.
And they were a lot younger.
Well, when I started, you started on Zazzle at the same time that I did, so I was maybe 18 or so. But my younger brothers, so the reason why we started a business is because of certain reasons. And if that reason is now, it's not happening for you, or it's not in alignment of where you are right now, you're creating a business that's unfortunately going to make you not happy and do the exact opposite of what you wanted to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, it's just going to create the same situation as it did before.
Yeah. So point number 3.
The second part of all that though is that because of the things that are in this strategy and that we're going to talk about in point number 3, there's another benefit, and that is that it allows you to manage your expectations while staying motivated to strive for what
Right.
your goal is.
Yeah.
And that's a biggie, because if you say, to yourself today, I'm going to make $1 million on Zazzle, and then tomorrow you go like, that's not working because I haven't made that yet. That's okay in terms of just dreaming, but it's not okay when you're creating an actual business.
Yeah.
It means that that would be an unrealistic expectation, and it allows you to align what your actions are based on what the reality of the Zazzle platform is with your goals. And so we want to stop disappointment. We want to have an actively excited person moving forward step by step, getting another goal and another goal and another goal, rather than going like, oh, it doesn't work and it's 5 days after trying.
Yeah, well, going on forward with Elka's point, it's not only just the people who are like $1 million, I can see it. It's also the people who have the smaller goals, but then they don't see sales and they're checking their earnings. And I've had students who told me that they refresh their earnings page over and over again, and every day that they don't,
every minute or something.
Yeah, and every time that they see that it hasn't changed, it's like another sort of like stab in the chest or whatever,
nail in the coffin.
And you just feel like very defeated, and you don't even want to move forward. So it's like the small increments as well, in terms of maybe you're not making sales every single day, but that doesn't mean that this business isn't going to possibly work for you. We've had days where I don't sell every day, but I have days where I sell a lot, and it makes up for the other days, right? And I'm also created a business that works for me years in the future. So you have to be in the right mindset and have that alignment and understand that this is something that you're creating for many years going forward. It's not just right away, tomorrow I'm getting a check and see ya, sayonara. It's that you're creating something that will help you live your dream life possibly in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what needs to be done to incorporate strategy number 4, which is align into your Zazzle business?
Okay,
so
go for it.
The first one that I've got here, we've got a list to make sure we don't forget anything. So it's defining how you want your business to be in your dream life. And I've already touched on that a little bit, but I'm going to go deeper, because what we consider when we move from like business person who's like got a job 9 to 5, and then we go like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to take this business seriously. And then we have these expectations that we have to do certain things to be successful.
Yeah.
A lot of them come around the fact that it's working hard to make something work. And we have to get you to understand right away that that's not actually what's needed. In fact, I would like it for you to actually allow in your new business, the way it's set up and what work you do and how you think about it has to already kind of give you your dream life. It's a little bit of that fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But not because you're trying to, pretend that you're already successful, but what you want to do is already have a work-life balance that's similar to what you want in the end, even though you're just starting out and making it work slowly, bit by bit. And so some of our students who say, in their goals, when they set their productivity goals, they go, I'm going to work 80 hours a week. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what's the point of that? And it's like, oh, so I can get ahead. It's like, no. You're not even going to be productive after like 10 hours in a day, and that's what they were planning on doing, right? Like 80 hours, divide that by 7. How is that possible, right? And so what I want you to hear right off the bat is that it's not that you're going to slack off because you're working less hours. It's that you're going to work more efficiently if you know what to do. And then that way you won't have to work so many hours. And then what you do is going to be very effective, right? You're not just going to do busy work. And that will allow you to align your business with what you want as your dream goal, which would be to work less hours, but to make more money. So the making more money will come ultimately. No income claim statements can be made. But the idea is that you can already start by working less hours and get into the habit, because if you don't, then your body and your brain will say, I always have to work hard and lots of hours in order to make this happen. So why not start at the beginning and go like, no, I'm going to make more money working less hours, and I'm going to make this work. So that's a little blind. Do you get that? It's like a mind bender.
Yeah. No, it's true. We also have some mastermind students who actually have set themselves up to not have to work as hard, but they're still in the mindset that, and we're working with them on it, but they're still in the mindset that if they're not physically doing something, they're not making money because they're in the mindset of the office job where you have to sit down from 9 to 5, do your work, and then you get paid. And if you're not working, you get fired or you don't get paid, right? But if you're on Zazzle, you actually just can put in the right amount of work and the right type of work, and then you don't have to work that many hours. And as like I said, it's sort of like as a flip of the switch, because you think that you need to be physically working to be making money, but truly
especially
you
at
don't.
the beginning when you are not making that money. So you think, okay, well, I have to work even more hours to finally get that first couple of sales, which is not true.
Yeah.
It's better actually if you don't work that many hours and be more conscientious about what you are producing and what you're doing in your business to be more effective.
Intentional work
rather than just busy work.
Yeah.
All right, so number 2, set your earnings goal, which means the royalty and referral separately. So in our, I'll link here the ERSD goal setting technique we've developed, and it's really helped our students to set goals that they can always accomplish. So the main thing is this comes to, like, you can do this with productivity and number of hours worked and anything else that you have as a goal setting task. And I won't go into the ERSD goal setting technique here because that's not the point here of this. But if you go to the show notes and go to that link, you're going to get everything you need to know so that you really understand that, because it takes a bit of time to explain. But what I want you to do here is, as part of the action steps that you need to take in order to have strategy number 4 implemented, is you do need a goal for your earnings. And because you get earnings from both royalty sales as well, or the royalties from sales, as well as referral earnings, if you actually promote and bring the customer in, then you should have those as separate things, because they're actually separate pieces of your earning potential. And that'll allow you to monitor. And if you're in the business world, then those are called key performance indicators, right? Like KPI, if you want to be really fancy, use acronyms. But all it is just like, what is it that's going to show me whether I'm doing a good job or not?
Yeah.
And so if you keep a track of your royalties and you keep track of your referrals, then you'll get a really good idea of what your progress is. And by setting those goals initially of whatever it is, and any goal is fine. It just depends on where you are in your business, and that's what we help you with in the Profit by Design Academy coaching program, because everyone has really high expectations, and then they can't live up to them, and they right away think, oh, it's not working, and I'm going to leave, or I'm going to quit. And unfortunately, if you actually work more on gradations, like even Brendan and Christine, who are our top earners, between the two of them, they've actually earned over like almost $400,000 between the two of them since they just started our coaching program, the Profit by Design Academy coaching program. Then they started slowly, and they go like, okay, the first thing I want to do is pay back the amount that it cost me to do the course, or to pay for the course. Then it was like, oh, if I could just make this much money in a year, I'd be happy. And then now they've moved up. So, they started slow, a couple $100, a couple of $1,000, then a couple of like $10,000, then, multiples of $10,000. And then all of a sudden it's like, let's try for $100,000, because their earnings from the previous year indicated that they could make that jump without being like totally unrealistic. And so that's what we want you to do with each of those, but you should set some goals. And the ERSD goal setting technique is the way to do it. All right, and then the next thing that we have to set is the productivity goal. And this is really interesting because most people think that they have to create thousands and thousands of products in order for them to be successful on Zazzle, because they could just get like one product to work, then they'll be happy. But instead, what you're doing is you're spreading yourself too thin, and you're actually not paying attention to what it is that people need. You're just flooding the market with nothing, even though they're all products. And then you get upset because you've done all this work and I've made all these products, and then it's like, how many sales? This is the most amazing question that people always ask us is, how many products do I have to make before I make a sale?
Yeah.
And the answer is 1.
Yeah.
The answer is 1, because if that one product sold, because you actually made it to be intentional and serve a customer, then you don't have to make any more products. But most of the people are in the mindset that they have to just take everything they own on their computer and slap it on something on Zazzle. And that, like, I'm being facetious, but I don't also want to insult anyone, because we did that at the beginning.
Yeah.
As I'm just making a joke about us, because we did that.
Yeah.
And I promise you, it does not work.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is to rethink that, and we actually suggest to our course members in the coaching program that they are only supposed to do 100 per month. So 100 strategic, intentional products. And guess what? When you start to become strategic and intentional, it's actually hard to make those 100, right? But because of that, those are sellers. There's always something that sells in those. Now, obviously, we can't make any income claim statements, but the 100 products, the way we've structured them, and the production plan that we give you tells you specifically what to break it down into, and so that you've got feelers out, and you've got certain things that you're testing. And then if any of those work, then we have another strategy for you to help you to build on whatever success you do have. So, but don't think too much further than 100, because it's not important, and it's not necessary, because if you do 100, that gives you like 1,200 products a year. That's huge. And if you can't make sales with 1,200 intentional products, then we have to rethink things. If you've really done a good job, there should be some sales there. Okay, now what about hours worked? And that's the same thing. There's this is the biggie for everyone. It's like, I'm going to work 80 hours a week. Awesome. No, I want you to work 20 hours a month. That's 4 hours a week. And everyone just kind of goes, no, it's not possible. And I'll tell you that both of the top students, Christine and Brandon, that we have in our coaching program, that have done really well and have allowed us to talk about what their, how they made their money and all that stuff. They both have really demanding jobs, which actually don't allow them to work more than 20 hours a month on their Zazzle business. And yet, guess what? They're the top performers.
Yeah. Because they use the hours intentionally, because they know they don't have more time.
I know.
Yeah.
They don't spend half their hours going down the rabbit holes of, oh, this looks cool, or that looks cool, or what's on Facebook, or whatever.
No,
now,
they definitely
we're
use
all
that.
guilty of that, but they just are very focused, very intentional, and they have a plan going in when they do their 4 hours a week.
Yep.
And it's paid off for them.
So the next one is define your why and remind yourself consistently. So remember, I actually spoke about this at not the beginning of the podcast, but previously. So defining your why, and why are you creating your online business, and what can it give you? It might not actually be, all about the money. Maybe it's the freedom of location or time, or maybe it's because you just really want to retire early, or there's got to be a story behind your Zazzle business and why you've decided to open one and actually take action to make it a business rather than a hobby. And so you have to consistently remind yourself on why you created it and feel good about it, right? And when we talk about, the students or people who refresh their sales, and every time that there's no more sales, they get defeated, you have to be in that moment and remember, hey, I'm creating this business because I know what the potential is, and I'm doing it because I want this, right? And you remind yourself consistently.
A different life.
Yeah, a different life than what you had before. And although it might be very hard at the beginning, Alka and I did it myself. I had super big doubts about if my Zazzle business would ever work. And I never knew what the real potential was until I started to actually, as Alka mentioned before, live a little bit of the dream life and show myself that it can be possible. And then finally, I was able to build my Zazzle business, and I actually lived in Spain for 10 years, making money online with my Zazzle business, because I was actually not able to get a real job because I wasn't a national there. And so my Zazzle business allowed me to actually live out my why, which, 14 years prior, it was to travel and explore the world. But when I first opened my Zazzle store and I put in my email and my password and said, create your store, I didn't even know what the world of possibilities was, but I knew I wanted to travel. And so if you consistently remind yourself of why you created your business and what you're in it for, then the possibilities are literally endless, as long as you do the right work and the smart work, and not, as Alka mentioned, work it harder or put out thousands of products or make unintentional strategic action steps, because if you're not intentional with your time, then you're just wasting it and you're not creating a business that could potentially be something really great in the future.
Yeah, and I'm smiling because I'm the mom, right? So I'm going like, yeah, I know, I saw that journey that Jennifer took. She goes like, I'm just going to make money on Zazzle because I see you making money. It can't be that hard. And then it was hard, and she didn't really know what to do until we helped her with the 5 strategies. But then also, it wasn't until she saw that, like, this boyfriend that she was interested in living with over in Spain, that's when her why became super why.
I know.
And it's like all of a sudden she was making a lot more money just because she put in the right work. It's like, I got to get there. And she had a timeline, right?
Yeah, no, I did timeline. I had my spreadsheets. I had my checklists. Everything. It was all like every day I sat down and I worked my certain hours, but I made sure that everything that I had on my list got done.
Yeah, and that was, so it works. So pick a why that's really, truly the why, so that you have that determination and drive to actually do the work that's necessary and to stop, goofing around almost, I think is the word for it. It's not an insult or a judgment. It's just like we move from, we don't think we're capable of it, but we are. We just haven't been motivated enough to do it. Yeah. And so pick a why that gives you that motivation so that you can really push forward and get the goals you want achieved earlier than even possible, than you think are possible, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and so number 6 ties in with the rest, is that you have to also celebrate your wins. And so I want you to, first of all, you're going to define your why, and then you're going to also remind yourself daily of it. And so that gives you the motivation. But then as your journey goes forward, even when there's like a not so great a win, there's got to be a win.
Yeah.
There's always a win. So every win you want to celebrate. So if it's a small win, set some rewards for yourself. So if it's a small win, like the massage I'm supposed to go to right now, then
I know, the alarm you gotta leave in a couple minutes.
I know, I do. Then, that's a small win. I'm going to get a massage every month or every 2 weeks or something. That's my small celebratory win for things that are happening all the time that I've reached my goal on. Then pick out a medium win and also of a large win. So let's say if I make my daily sales and I make them for the whole month, or I make my monthly sales, I'll give myself a massage. And that's not me personally. I'm going to go and treat myself to have a massage. Yeah. Then the medium would maybe be let's go on a little family vacation or something like that. Or the family vacation could be the large win. And then the medium win is something different, like maybe, a weekend away rather than a huge full-on 2-week vacation. Those are just examples. Obviously, it doesn't always have to be vacation-based. It could be, I'm going to pay off my house. I'm going to be debt-free. I'm going to always pay off my bills every month without thinking about it because I have enough money. I'm going to shop in the regular grocery store instead of what we have called here as the no-frills. Even though I can't get rid of that habit, I'm still shopping in the no-frills because I like, saving money. But I used to, when the kids were little, twins and this girl, we had a lot of expenses, so I was always shopping for the best bargain. Yeah. But now I don't actually have to if I don't want to. And so if that's something that you just that feels good to just be able to go buy something without having to worry about if we've hit our monthly limit on our budget yet. Yeah. And so really be aware of what is going to give you that feeling that you're already living that business life that you want to create by giving you these small little rewards. This is one way to bring it back up to that first point that we made, that you have to already start living your life the way that you want to, even though you're not going to be irresponsible with your budget and whatnot. But there's a lot of things that you can do in terms of hours you work, the way you feel, and then these little tiny wins that you're going to celebrate with certain pieces in your life that are important to you. That's going to give you that sense of feeling that, yes, you're on the right track and that this life is just going to keep getting better. Yeah. Just like Jen said, she didn't even know how good it was going to be.
Yeah, I know. And I just have to touch on Elka's point in terms of the monetary wins and reaching your income goals. If you aren't actually making your sales yet or actually making money on Zazzle yet, you can still have wins based on your accomplishments, right? Yeah. If you learned more about the design tool, or if you posted your 100 products, or if you worked your 20 hours. Like, the amount of things that you put into your Zazzle business can also be celebrated, rather than if the outcome of your sales is what I mean. So if you want to like go treat yourself for a nice walk, or take the weekend off and read a book or something like that, where you don't always have to be also spending money for your wins too, because maybe that's not in the budget right now because you're not making your money on Zazzle. So there's both of those too. So you should definitely have to celebrate the non-financial wins too, because a lot of students forget that, right? If you're like not making sales, it means I'm doing something wrong. Maybe you're doing something wrong in terms of your titles and tags or your product design, but you're doing something right because you're learning, first of all, and you're creating your business, and you're putting in the right intentional work, okay? So don't forget that, because a lot of Zazzle designers get defeated when they don't see the sales, and it doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing.
Yes, it just means that you have to be patient. You have to work on everything that's needed in order for it all to click and come together. Yeah. That's why we have these 5 strategies. And this is one of the most important ones. Yeah. Because if you're not on board and you're not, if you're defeated, then you're not going to be building your business. You're going to be incapable of that, because you're emotionally not there to help you move forward in your business, and we don't want that for you. So we've given you all kinds of things that you can do here to implement strategy number 4, which is align, and we can't wait to hear your comments about this, because this is a really important topic. If you also want to dive deeper into strategy number 4, align, and actually implement the strategies that Elke and I use to create our $1 million Zazzle businesses, then we invite you to come into the Profit by Design Academy coaching program, because we definitely dive deeper. Obviously, we've given you amazing tips here in this podcast, but this is just the beginning, because we can't obviously give you everything that you need to know within a podcast episode. In fact, our coaching is 1 year long, just so that you can implement everything properly, and that we can support you for that year while you're growing your business. So we're really excited if you're interested in that. The link is in the bio.
So thanks so much for listening to this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.